In the shadowy corners of the internet, there exists a world where control is just a few clicks away. This is the hidden realm of hacking, a world far more intricate and complex than the neon green code cascading down black screens we often see in movies. Here, in this obscure universe, individuals called hackers possess the power to remotely control any personal computer. It's not just about causing chaos or stealing data. It's about the power to manipulate, to observe, to become an invisible puppeteer, pulling the strings from miles away. This is no science fiction, it's a reality we live in. A reality where your PC, the device you're probably using right now, can be turned into somebody else's tool. So buckle up. As we dive into the world of hacking, we will peel back the layers of this digital onion one by one. You're about to discover how hackers can take control of a PC from miles away. The first step in any successful hack is reconnaissance. Just like a skilled detective, a hacker starts their mission with a phase of meticulous information gathering. This stage, known as reconnaissance, is crucial. It's the foundation on which the entire hacking process is built. But what does reconnaissance entail? Well, it involves collecting as much data about the target as possible. This information can range from the obvious, such as email addresses and phone numbers, to the more obscure details like the software versions their systems run on or the type of router they use. The more a hacker knows about their target, the easier it becomes to exploit vulnerabilities and gain unauthorized access. And to gather this information, hackers employ various methods. One such method is social engineering. This is where the hacker manipulates people into divulging confidential information. They might pose as a trusted entity, perhaps a bank or an IT support agent, to trick the target into revealing sensitive details. Quite a cunning strategy, isn't it? Another common technique is phishing, where hackers craft deceptive emails or messages to lure unsuspecting individuals into clicking on malicious links or downloading harmful attachments. These actions can lead to the compromise of personal information or even the entire system. Hackers also use tools like port scanners and network mappers to identify open doors into a target system. They might even trawl through discarded documents or eavesdrop on conversations to find valuable nuggets of information, a practice known as dumpster diving and shoulder surfing, respectively. Every piece of information, no matter how trivial it might seem, can be a potential weak link that a hacker can exploit. The reconnaissance phase is all about finding these weak links and using them as a stepping stone to infiltrate the target's defenses. Reconnaissance lays the foundation for the hacking process, setting the stage for the next step. Once they've gathered enough information, hackers move on to the next stage, infiltration. Like a skilled locksmith, their job is to find the right key for the lock, or in this case, the right exploit for a system's vulnerabilities. Infiltration can be achieved in multiple ways. One common method is through software vulnerabilities. Software, like every other human creation, isn't perfect. It's a complex web of code that often hides flaws or bugs. These bugs can sometimes be exploited by hackers to gain unauthorized access. Think of it as finding a hidden backdoor into a fortified castle. One popular example of this is the Heartbleed bug, a serious vulnerability in the OpenSSL cryptographic software library which allowed hackers to steal information protected under normal conditions by the SSL/TLS encryption. Another popular infiltration method is malware, which is short for malicious software. This includes viruses, worms, trojans, ransomware, and more. These are essentially digital weapons that hackers deploy to infiltrate, damage, or disrupt systems. For instance, a hacker might use a type of malware called a keylogger to record every keystroke made on a computer, allowing them to capture sensitive information like passwords and credit card numbers. Malware can be delivered in various ways, often disguised as innocent files or embedded in seemingly harmless software. Once inside a system, it can lie dormant, silently doing its work undetected, or cause immediate and noticeable damage. So to sum up, hackers infiltrate systems by exploiting software vulnerabilities or using malware. These methods provide them with the unauthorized access they need to carry out their objectives, whether that's stealing information, causing disruption, or simply proving that they can break through the system's defenses. Infiltration is the key to the hacking kingdom, but it's useless without the next step. But that, dear listeners, is a tale for another scene. So stay tuned as we delve deeper into the hidden world of hacking in our next segment. Having infiltrated a system, it's crucial for hackers to maintain access quietly. You see, the real art isn't just in breaking the digital locks, but in staying unnoticed while they roam around. It's like being a ghost in the machine, a silent observer. Hackers use a variety of methods to maintain this stealthy presence. One popular technique is installing what's known as a backdoor. This is essentially a secret pathway that bypasses normal authentication procedures, allowing them to re-enter the system at will. Picture it as a hidden entrance to a fortress, known only to the invader, allowing them to come and go as they please. Another common method is the use of rootkits. These are a collection of software tools that grant the hacker a high level of control over the compromised system. The scary part? They can be incredibly difficult to detect. Rootkits can manipulate the system in such a way that they appear to be normal, legitimate processes. It's like a perfect disguise, making the hacker virtually invisible within the system. The aim here is to maintain constant covert access. It's not about causing immediate damage or drawing attention. Instead, it's about stealthily gathering information, observing patterns, and understanding the inner workings of the system. The longer they can stay undetected, the more valuable data they can potentially acquire. Stealth is absolutely vital in this stage. If they're discovered, the game is up. They'll be locked out, their backdoors closed, their rootkits removed. That's why hackers devote so much time and effort into staying invisible, into being that silent observer. But why do they do this? What's the end goal? Well, maintaining access is one thing, but the true aim is to gain control, to manipulate the system to their own ends. And that's where we move to the final stage. Maintaining access allows hackers to stay in control, but to truly dominate, they must move to the final stage. The final stage of hacking is covering tracks. A good hacker is like an invisible puppeteer. Let's delve into the world of the unseen. Imagine a puppeteer pulling strings, manipulating the show, yet hidden from the audience's view. That's what a seasoned hacker does. They control the narrative, they pull the strings, and they remain unseen. The art of staying hidden, staying undetected, is what differentiates an average hacker from a master. And how do they achieve this? Through a series of intricate methods designed to cover their tracks. First, there's the alteration of logs. Every action performed on a computer leaves a trace, a log. It's like footprints on a sandy beach. But what if you could erase those footprints? Well, hackers do just that. They manipulate the system logs, delete entries, or even create false ones. It's like they were never there, or better yet, like someone else was. Then comes the use of proxies, another genius method of staying under the radar. A proxy server acts as a middleman between the hacker and the system they are targeting. It's like sending a messenger to deliver your note instead of going yourself. The system sees the messenger, not the sender. And these are just the tip of the iceberg. Hackers also use techniques such as IP spoofing, where they mask their actual IP address with a fake one, or chain multiple proxies together to bounce their connection across the globe, making it next to impossible to trace back to them. But why go through all this trouble, you may ask? The answer is simple: to stay in control. A hacker caught is a puppet show exposed. The strings are cut, the control is lost. Covering tracks ensures the hacker remains undetected, controlling the system like a puppet master. So, the next time you're at a puppet show, remember the invisible puppeteer, pulling the strings from behind the curtain, unseen yet in control. And remember, in the digital world, this puppeteer could be anywhere, could be anyone. Covering tracks ensures the hacker remains undetected, controlling the system like a puppet master. So, we've taken a journey into the shadowy world of hacking. It's a world that begins with reconnaissance, where hackers get to know their targets better than they know themselves. They slink through the digital landscape, collecting information and identifying vulnerabilities. Then they move on to breaking in. They exploit weaknesses, crack passwords, and infiltrate systems, all while remaining undetected. They become the silent observers, watching, learning, and waiting for the perfect moment. And when that moment arrives, they transform into invisible puppeteers. They manipulate systems, alter data, and control devices remotely, pulling the strings from the shadows. But as they exit, they leave no trace behind, covering their tracks meticulously. They fade back into the shadows, leaving no evidence of their presence or their actions. This is the world of hacking, a world that is as fascinating as it is frightening. Remember, understanding how hacking works is the first step to protecting against it. Stay safe in the digital world.